Hello, my lovely Scorpio. Scorpio, sun, moon, rising. This is for the week of August the 17th, or when you hear it and it resonates, and of course it won't be for everybody. Okay, Scorpio, so the first image that Spirit gives me is this. It's a picture of you with what looks like a really beautiful beer stein. And you could easily be drinking out of that, but you're not. You're drinking out of a waxed straw, the old kind, paper, wax paper straw that's red and white. And what they're showing me is you, and you're trying to drink out of this stein through this straw, but you're sucking on the straw so hard that everything is tightening up, and you're actually collapsing the straw with your lips. Why is this relevant, Spirit? Okay, so what they're saying, what they just showed me was there is endless liquid. It's this stein, it's got water in it, but it's got water in it. It's not even really water. They're showing me a liquid in it, and what they're showing me is that liquid changes according to what your needs are. And that you have lived sometimes in a state of fear that there's not going to be enough of what you need. And so that's sometimes created a situation where you've worked really hard to try to make sure you had enough. You and or other people had enough, that you were able to get as much as you possibly could. And in a way, what it did was it kind of narrowed your focus on what was important for you, what security and safety was all about, and what nourishment was all about. That you had what they're saying is it's almost like you had a narrow vision, except it's not a vision, it's just that your energy was maybe anchored into something this big as opposed to the opening of the glass. And as they're showing me that, they're also showing me that, like, if this were a restaurant, then you could go up and get a refill anytime, and you could go to any one of those spouts. And that's what they're showing me is like each spout has a different color, and each spout has the capacity to give you the nourishment that you need. What they're saying is that it's been the worry aspect, which basically comes down to just fear showing its face in many different forms, that created a contracted energy that did not allow you to really see how what you were doing was actually limiting you in the long run. Because if you were trying so hard to get your sense of security and safety from something this big, and it ended up collapsing around you, then it obviously wasn't something that was going to be giving you as much of what you needed all along. If you were trying that hard, if you were struggling that much with it, it was not fully satisfying what was good for you. So what they're saying here is you now are at a point where you have done so much of the work. And as I say that, what they're showing me you sitting, it really is literally like I'm seeing you in a restaurant, in one of the old, restaurants from the 60s or 70s, where you're kind of sitting in this banquette now and you're going, and you almost don't even know what to order for yourself. So if this were the precursor to a meal, I'm just like, you don't even really know exactly what the meal should be at this point in order to kind of balance out whatever the imbalances were before. Excuse me. What they're saying is you can, as a way to overcome some of this. No, that's not even the right word. Okay, clarify, please. As you are in this period of rest and recuperation, which is really what it feels like to me, on many levels, while you are in this state, please can you be aware of what the impulses were that led you to overdo something that was supposed to be good for you, that was supposed to stabilize you for your future. Can you look at what your role was in that in terms of where you were at emotionally? And can you now really discipline yourself to notice when you are in good mind energy and when you're in mind energy, when you're in expansive, growing, healing energy, when you're in contracted fear energy. Can you look at that? And can you do something so that you have a regular place within your day to be able to stop, breathe, notice what you're feeling, breathe and see how it changes, just so you start getting in touch with what it feels like to be in this new mode of what's good for me, what can I open up to, as opposed to what's good for me, what can I contract around? Because that feels to me like that's one of the big things for you. And again, this is about it. They dropped in something before, and that was that some of this is really very much mind training, because when, as many of you have for many years, being used to working in this old mode, we got to remember you've got personality traits that reinforce it, you've had experiences that reinforce it, you've got neurons in your brain that have been created by this recurrent thought process. Now this is a chance for you to really start understanding your mind in a different way. And there was a wonderful quote, I wonder if I can find it. There was a wonderful quote by Gabor Mate that I had written before and came across today. We may not be responsible for the way the world creates our mind, but we can learn to take responsibility for the mind with which we create the world. And that's Gabor Mate, M-A-T-E, G-A-B-O-R-M-A-T-E. He's a psychologist from Canada. I think he's brilliant. So again, I feel like this is what is really talking about for you, is that sense of this is where you really get to understand your mind, how to stay in connection with what your mind and your feelings are so that you can discern. And they're saying, do it big, because whatever you're going to give up, it's going to liberate you. And that's really what this is all about. This is about liberating you from worry and from anxiousness, anxiety, and from any fear state that held you in something that was causing you to contract around trying to feel safe and better, as opposed to surrendering into that expression of self, which is based in trust and faith and divine providence. Okay? I'm going to leave you with that, my dear Scorpios. Remember, they're just showing me again, there is a spout of every color, but again with you, the first one that I'm getting is that beautiful violet-y color that I associate with mind healing. Higher consciousness for sure. Specifically in this case, it's got that pinky quality to it, and I feel like this is really about calming the mind and healing the mind, healing the emotions. I leave you with that, Scorpio. Much love. Thanks so much for showing up, and I really do appreciate your presence on the channel. You folks are some of the most present. I read all of your comments, and I appreciate them. So thank you. Take care. Much love.